So welcome back to the bench. In this episode, we are going to look at the 135th Border Models Akagi flight deck. Let's get into it. So as I may have explained in a previous episode, the box art is, as was depicted at the beginning of this video, and it brings together two particular kits, the Akagi flight deck, bridge and flight deck, which we're going to look at right now, but it also brings together with the option 135th of the 135th Kate. There is a review on the channel for that, but we're going to concentrate on the Akagi bridge and flight deck section. Now, this is a wonderful representation here of our flight deck, and that is in 135th. You can buy this kit with just the flight deck, or you can actually buy it with a plane. It comes in 135th, but it also you can pick it up in 172nd. I don't know what the detail is like in the 172nd kit, but I would assume it's very similar to this, where they can be. Anyway, let's get into it. This is the instruction booklet, a very nice bit of artwork there, as we said, and we'll get straight into our instruction. So as you can see, we're straight into the instructions. We've got a nice explanation of the Akagi itself, its history in Japanese and in English. It talks about the attack on Pearl Harbor and the Battle of Midway, which is two of the main battles it was used within. Then we go straight on to the sprue section, and I have to tell you, there is 14 elements of sprues. That doesn't include the actual flight deck itself, which comes in six pieces, I think, off the top of my head, of which you can put together with these little fillets here as well. So it goes together really well. It also shows here the PE. There's a very small amount of PE. I say that. They are the tie downs that go into the flight deck, and there are quite a few of them, but we'll see that as we go along. So straight into the instructions, and we're into the main superstructure of our flight deck. And it all goes together really, really, really well. And the detail on the outside here of pipes and gauges and all that sort of stuff being added already. This is all putting together for our island, and then obviously we've got our plastic portholes, etc., all going in as well. So building the superstructure up for our island, and we carry on here, adding our binoculars and guns and all sorts of different defensive mechanisms. The guns are there, they're very well detailed as well. The island was very light armored with just some machine guns. But anyway, we'll go over that later on. So we're now looking at concentrating at putting the bits together for our island here. It does stand quite tall, so be aware of that. And then we're putting the structure together here. This is actually upside down, depicting in this picture, and we're putting our beam sections, superstructure, holding the superstructure all together. Putting it all together. Now we're into the bridge section, where you've got some spotlights or signaling lamps as well that goes on here. Now I have to say to you that in this kit there is some lighting which goes in a little bit, but you can add light into it, and I have seen these signal lights, etc., being put together with lamps, etc., and they do look quite phenomenal. So lots of extras you can add in here. Again, we're putting the last bits of our bridge section together here with ladders, etc., etc. And here's the lighting component that I was talking about earlier. So there is a small amount of lighting that you can put in here on the roof section of our bridge, which will help illuminate the inside, the interior. We're then doing our extra detail here. Lots and lots of things to put together. And then we're looking at the upper section of our island, with all of our observational binoculars and with all of our ability to seek out the enemy through our spotters on top of the island. Again, there is the ability to put some lighting components in here as well, which I think is, if I remember correctly, is the signal lamp, which goes on the outside. But that's there, and then obviously you're doing our rangefinder piece of equipment here that goes on the top of the island, putting that all together, and then we're putting this now into place where we need it. Now I have to say to you, the only thing that's missing, in my opinion, on this particular part is the detail within the bridge section. There is a little bit, not an awful lot, but there is a little bit. But you can certainly add detail, and that's one of the wonderful things about this being in 1/35. You can really go to town if you want to super detail it. You can. Then we're going to put all the island together in its different bits and pieces, putting the railings on, etc. And then that is pretty much it. We're now putting out flag masts and all that sort of stuff together as well, and that's the island complete. And this is what I was saying to you about the flight deck itself. So the flight deck comes together, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think it's 5 or 6 pieces you put together with these little fillets that hold it all together, and that makes up a very nice flight deck. The PE, obviously, as I said to you, there's the hold downs for the airplanes. These all go into the molded spots rather, sorry. And then we're going to marry up both the island and the flight deck together. Still a little bit more detail to add in. I did say earlier about flagpoles and stuff. This is right here at the end. Got a bit carried away. But you can put your island, the island onto the flight deck. You can add the railings. You can add your flagpoles, etc. And then that is an art depiction of your last bit going on with all your flag and signaling ability to do your signal flags, etc. And that is 34 steps of making an amazing build. And it talks about here about putting the decals on the flight deck, your white lines, and you've got some other extra decals and bits and pieces here that you add on to our superstructure, etc. Again, Ammo MiG have been kind enough to provide the painting and marking guides on the back here, and that is the Akagi instructions. What a phenomenal build that's going to be. So now on to the glory of the plastic. So I'm going to show the sprues as they come. I'm not going to detach them from the bits and pieces. This is sprue A. This is 2 parts of your island. Obviously, you might be able to see a bit of grease and stuff on here. This is not from handling. This is maybe a release agent or stuff. It might be worth giving this a wipe over. It's not going to hurt it, is it? Let's be honest. But you can see from that the detail is already there, and you're going to add loads to it. You've got a couple of bits here which will create underneath a part of the island, but we'll get to that. But as you can see, lots and lots of detail on these parts already. And again, this is another part of our sprue A, and this is the sides of our island, different bits and pieces. The portholes, as you can see, got nice rivet detail around them, and you've got some raised panel lines there as well. If you remember from our instructions, this is the upper deck, the deck where you'll be doing all your visual checking, etc. And this would be where your rangefinder equipment would sit. So right at the top of the island. This is sprue B, and as you see, the detail of our base there is just so immense. Really, really, really good. This would be where our signal lamp goes, and this will have railings around it. But there you go. That is, as you can see, oh, sorry. So as I was saying, you've got your rivet detail here, really, really nicely put together. I'm just going to mention these just purely because they are here and available to look at. But these are the floor sections of, this is the floor section of the bridge section. We'd have a table going here and a wall. And then here would be, I believe there's a couple of binocular sites, I think, and some control elements there, but not an awful lot going on inside there. So already we are on sprue D. Now this is all the parts that we have that will go together to make, still making the island. Remember, we've got our doors, etc. here. You can play with lots of things with these. You have got, here is a recessed panel of some description that will go there. I'm not quite sure what that is, so forgive me, but this is the lighting section that we were talking about. This will go as the roof of the bridge, so these will be the amount of light that you'll be able to see, or bulb if you like. It's a little LED strip from as far as I remember, but we'll come to that in a little bit. That is sprue D. So this is sprue E. Now you would think, wouldn't you, with it being an island, there's not going to be a lot of glass, but there you go. That is all the glass. These are the portholes, obviously, the main windows for our bridge section, our signal lamp there as well, and lots of other different bits and pieces. I think these are for the ends of the binoculars, but I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on that. Could be. But yeah, a lot of glass there, and as you can see, it is very nicely molded. There are no flaws or anything with that at all. Here we're on to sprue F. Now these are our masts for our signaling flags and all that sort of thing. Nicely molded. I understand that it is possible for you to, these are like pulley systems for your flags and signaling. It's my understanding you can actually, if you really want to go to fine detail, you can swap those out and make them. They're fairly easy to do. Not sure I will go to that effort, but certainly something to think of if that's what you want to do. And that is sprue F. So here is sprue G. I did tell you it's going to be a lot of plastic to go through. We're still looking at the outside of our island. We've got some pipe work, etc. here, and fine detail we're putting on to our bridge section. We've got, this is the compass section, the wheel for the wheelhouse, just there, and that was sprue G. So sprue H, these are some finer details that go on to our superstructure. This goes on to the side. These are some pipe work and some gauges and all that sort of thing, which sit on the outside. This is a hatch door that you can, with a bit of cleverness, make so it opens if you want to, and we're starting to see these are the superstructure parts that hold up one of the decks of the island as well. I believe this is part of our rangefinder part as well, just on here on sprue H. There you go. That is sprue H. Sprue I, got two of these in the kit, and this is the observation this is sprue I, and we are into our binoculars and our observation section here. These are the stands in which our binoculars, which are here, go in. And as I said, the really small, tiny bits of plastic are for your binoculars. So just double check that. Lots of binoculars, as you can see. These are actually a two-piece binocular, so you can put them together. Pipe work, these are our communication tubes as well, which go into the bridge section. Could be quite interesting to make a few more of those that you can put on into the bridge section itself. I think these are ones for outside for the spotters, if I remember correctly. We've got our first machine gun there. Like I said, it's very lightly armed bridge, just literally a small machine gun, which you can protect yourself to a degree, but not a great deal. Some these are the magazines for our machine guns just here at the bottom, as well as some other detail here. So that is sprue I. Sprue J is to do with our stairs, stairways and ladders and all that sort of thing, which is really great to see. That's all done for you. One really good thing about having these done for you is if you want to, like I'm going to, go into a bit more detail elsewhere with my crazy build, this gives you a really good reference to match basically for anywhere else you might want to put ladder or stairways. So that's really cool. Again, we've got some finer detail with pipework that you would put onto the outside of the hull, the whole of the island, and some other bits and pieces, some portholes there. Well, again, with the riveting around the porthole, really, really lovely. And that is Sprue J. So this is Sprue K. Not a great deal to see here, but just be warned, there is 4 of these beauties. And this is just more stuff that more detail that you're going to add in to your build. So we've got some detail here, which is obviously to turn on and off some pressures of some description, or maybe to maneuver your viewing platform for the binoculars, etc. I'll be honest, I'm not completely au fait with exactly everything to do nautical, so I'm going to stop there before I talk a load of rubbish. But as you can see, that is Sprue K. So we were talking about PE. This is the PE set. As you can see, nothing too exciting. They are all literally the same, and these are all the tie downs that you're going to put into your flight deck. Now we get into the decals. There are loads of them, as you can see. This is a map that goes on the outside of the island, and some of the white lines that you put on to the flight deck itself. You've got some gauges there as well for your dials, some dials for your gauges that are on the side of the island itself. And this is meant to be like a chalkboard to show who's out on flights, etc. Quite a lot of decal. So yes, there we go. So we are now onto this. This is create your flag, and some white lines for your flight deck. And as you can see, I'm not going to go on these two. These are all wonderfully done in production. But as you can see, there's lots and lots of different types of flags. They're all named for you. So this is the Navy flag. This is the Lieutenant General banner, and the Major General flag. And then you've got your signaling flags as well, which are all there for you to look at. As you can see, really, really nicely done. And these are all your decals. So start saving up a bit of silver foil for your flags, because that would be an amazing way to do it. Stick your flags onto silver foil, and then that'll give you the ability to crumple them up and make them look realistic. That is the decal and the PE. So on the screen now are some pictures of the flight deck parts that come within the kit. Like I said, they all go together really, really well, give you a really big base for your diorama. If you're going to be mad like me, and this is the reason why I can't show the actual parts that I've got in my kit, because I already stuck them together like this. And the reason for that is, obviously, I'm going to be making a diorama, and I needed to understand the size so I could cut the wood and other bits and pieces I need for the other decks. So there you go. There's a great deal of plastic in that kit, and thank you so much for going through it with me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put some pictures right at the end here for you to have a look at some of the finer detail of the sprues, bits I picked out, if you like. Make sure you join me for the next review, but also, much more importantly, please do follow the roundtables that are going on in relation to this build, and all the other goodies that will be going on throughout the next months on the channel. But for now, thank you very much for tuning in and being with me. Until next time, keep modeling.